especially for the DeFi channel. Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're new to the whole world of cryptocurrency and you just want to understand what it's all about, without the hype and confusion, then you're in exactly the right place. We're going to walk you through the core ideas, the tech, and the first steps you can take to get involved safely. Okay, let's jump right in. I want to start with a really simple, but honestly, a really powerful question. What if you could be your own bank? Now, this isn't just some catchy slogan, It's the big idea, the core concept that got this whole thing started. It's all about taking back control. So what's the big idea here? It's actually pretty straightforward. Unlike the traditional system where a bank or government is always in the middle, cryptocurrencies are designed to give you, and only you, complete control over your money. Nobody else can touch it, move it, or freeze it unless you say so. Okay, so why is this such a big deal? Well, it has some huge real-world advantages. Full control means your money is safe from interference. Global access means that anyone with a phone, literally billions of people, can tap into financial services they never had before. And being able to send money anywhere in the world in minutes for just a few cents, that's a total game changer compared to the old way of doing things. All right, you might be wondering, how does any of this actually work? It all boils down to a few key pieces of technology. So let's break down the absolute essentials, nice and simple, step by step. So the absolute core of all this is something called the blockchain. The easiest way to think about it is like a giant public digital record book. But here's the key. This book is copied and shared across thousands of computers all over the world. So once a transaction is written down, the whole network sees it, which makes it super secure and basically impossible to cheat or change. Now, here's something that trips a lot of people up. Not all crypto is the same. Think of it like this. If a blockchain is a country, then a coin, like Bitcoin or Ether, is the official currency of that country. It's essential for how it works. A token, on the other hand, is built on top of that country's infrastructure. It's more like a movie ticket or a gift card that only works for a specific application inside that country. And the engine that powers most of this stuff is the smart contract. It's just a piece of code that lives on the blockchain and automatically does what it's programmed to do when specific things happen. The vending machine analogy is perfect. You put $1 in, that's the condition, and a soda comes out, that's the result. A smart contract is the same thing for digital stuff. No middleman needed. Okay, so we've got the tech basics down. Now let's talk about the assets themselves. Crypto is just this huge umbrella term for a ton of different things. Getting the hang of the main categories is going to be key to finding your way around. You're going to hear about a ton of different types, but let's focus on 3 of the big ones. First, stablecoins. They're designed to stay stable, usually pegged to $1. Then you have utility tokens, which are basically keys that give you access to a project's product or service. And of course, NFTs, which are just unique digital receipts that prove you own a one-of-a-kind item, like digital art. Now, let's zoom in on stablecoins for a second, because there's a really important difference here. Centralized ones are issued by a company, and they're backed by real dollars in a bank. They're easy to use, but there's a catch. They can be frozen. Decentralized stablecoins, on the other hand, are run by a smart contract and backed by other crypto. The big difference? They can't be frozen or censored. It's true financial freedom. Okay, let's be real. A lot of people get into crypto because they hear you can make money. And you can, but this is where you have to be careful. You need to understand that there are 2 totally different ways to approach this, and picking the right one is probably the most important choice you'll make. So on one hand, you have the investment approach. This is all about playing the long game. We're talking years. You buy into solid projects you believe in, aiming for slow and steady growth. It takes patience and research. Then you have the speculative approach. This is short-term trading, trying to time the market for quick profits. It is extremely risky and usually just involves chasing whatever is hyped up on social media that day. And I really, really want to hammer this point home. When we talk about speculation and day trading, the data is just brutal. Over 95% of active traders lose all of their money. For someone new, trying to get rich quick by trading is pretty much the fastest way to lose everything. So what's the big takeaway here? You have got to ignore the noise. All those promises of easy money or secret trading signals you see online, it's a trap. The only path to success in this space is through learning, doing your own research, and thinking long-term. Okay, so with all that in mind, how can you actually get started safely? And maybe even more important, what are the huge risks you absolutely need to watch out for? Let's get into it. And here's the cool part. You actually don't need to invest a ton of money to get started. You can join something called a testnet, where you basically help projects test their new stuff before it launches, and they might reward you with tokens for it. Or you can become an ambassador for a project you really like, helping them with social media and getting rewards that way. Both are awesome ways to learn without risking your own cash. But listen, before you even think about putting a single dollar of your own money into this, you absolutely have to understand that this isn't like the stock market. The risks here are very, very different. Let's break down the top three. First is storage risk. Remember, you are your own bank. If you lose your password or your keys, that's it. There's no customer service hotline to call. Your money is gone forever. Second, smart contract risk. Even good projects can have bugs in their code that hackers can find and exploit. And third, bad advice risk. Just assume that almost every hot tip you see online is a paid ad trying to pump up a super risky project. And that really brings us to a fantastic rule of thumb to end on. Don't buy an asset for 10 minutes if you aren't prepared to hold it for 10 years. Before you buy anything, ask yourself if you genuinely believe in it for the long haul. That's the mindset that will serve you best. That's all. Subscribe so you don't miss anything.